Hello, welcome back to your channel Chemistry Simplified. We are back with another topic of organic chemistry class 10, and today we are going to discuss about the saturated and unsaturated compounds. Also we'll discuss some of the functional group. Okay, so let's begin. So let's get started. Now before I start, let's just recap what we have learned in the previous class. We were discussing about the carbon compounds, what are these carbon compounds, and also what makes carbon so special. So basically, what is the speciality of carbon? First of all, the tetravalency. We know that carbon, which is having atomic number 6, has a 4 electrons in the valence shell, and that is because of which it is tetravalent, because technically or kinetically it is not possible for carbon to either lose 4 electron or gain 4 electron. Okay, first thing. And the second major property that carbon possesses is the property of catenation. What is catenation? Catenation is a self-linking property of carbon in which it can bond to different carbon by either single bond in the linear chain, or it can form branching, it can form double bond, it can form triple bond, multiple bonds. Now we are going to understand what is a saturated compound and what is an unsaturated compound. So give the heading carbon compounds. Carbon compounds. Okay, so first of all, carbon compounds, there are saturated as well as unsaturated carbon compounds. Now what do we mean by saturated and unsaturated? Saturated compounds are those compounds which are bonded by single bond. Okay, so saturation. So what is a saturated compound? Saturated का मतलब है जब कार्बन दूसरे किसी भी लाइक कार्बन के साथ, हाइड्रोजन के साथ, ऑक्सीजन, कार्बन, हाइड्रोजन किसी के साथ भी अगर वो सिंगल बॉन्ड में बॉन्ड बना रहा है, देन इट इज सेड टू बी अ सैचुरेटेड बॉन्ड. ओके, सो कार्बन विद द compounds which are bonded by a single bond. ओके, जब कार्बन और कार्बन के बीच में, कार्बन या हाइड्रोजन के बीच में, द कंपाउंड्स विच आर बॉन्डेड बाय अ सिंगल बॉन्ड, दे आर सेड टू बी सैचुरेटेड कंपाउंड. ओके, in terms of carbon compound. Now when we talk about an unsaturated carbon compound, unsaturated carbon compound are those compounds which have either a double bond or a triple bond, or we can call it as a multiple bond. Okay, so what is a saturated carbon compound? What is an unsaturated carbon compound? The compounds which are bonded by a single covalent bond, that is known as a saturated compound, and the unsaturated compounds are those compounds which are bonded by double or triple bond. For example, I will tell you methane. Methane is a compound which I think we have already discussed in the previous class. That is where carbon is bonded with 4 hydrogen atoms in a single bond. So there is a single bond between carbon and hydrogen. Okay, likewise an H2 molecule, hydrogen and hydrogen, there is a single bond between 2 hydrogen atoms. Chlorine and chlorine, there is a single bond between chlorine. But now since we are only discussing about carbon compounds, saturated carbon compounds, so I will only limit myself to the carbon compounds. Okay, so if there is a single bond, that means it is a saturated compound. Now if we talk about multiple bond, double or triple bond, for example we have C2H4. okay, we'll be discussing in the later half of the chapter. So here CH2 double bond CH2 or CH triple bond CH. So if there is existence of a double bond or if there is existence of a triple bond, if multiple bond is there, then it is an unsaturated compound. So I hope the difference is clear. Saturated where only single bonds are present, unsaturated where double or triple bond is present. Okay, now we will discuss we'll understand what is a homolog series, and also we will know what are the different functional groups that you have to study in this class 10th. Okay, so what is a homolog series? Next topic. Now, a homolog series, a group of organic compounds. How if we want to define it, how we will define homolog series? A group of organic compounds which have a particular functional group. Now, question will be asked, what is a functional group then? So, if you want to define a functional group, there is an atom or a group of atoms which give characteristic to a particular compound, that is known as a functional group. There's many functional groups that we are going to discuss in this class, like alcohol, the family of alcohol, family of aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, and so on. Okay, so the functional group, what is functional group? Functional group is a atom or a group of atoms which give characteristic to a particular compound, whereas this homolog series, what is a homolog series? Homolog series is a group of organic compound that has a particular particular functional group. Okay, now there are certain characteristics of this homolog series. First of all, they can be, if you are talking about the characteristic of homolog series, first of all, they are having a general formula. Okay, they possess similar chemical properties, though there are some variations in the physical properties, but there is a similar chemical property. Also, if we talk about a homolog series, you will find there is a difference between the family of compounds. The difference between the homolog series is given by a CH2. Okay, by CH2. We will do the examples and I'll be telling you how to understand. Okay, so what are the characteristics? Each member of the homolog series, they differ, but there is by a difference of CH2. The homolog series, they have a similar chemical property, though there is a variation in the physical property. Okay, and they have a general formula. Okay, so now we will understand the carbon compounds by the classification. How? First we will understand the classification of carbon compounds into the saturated compounds and unsaturated compounds. Saturated, the alkanes, and unsaturated, that is the alkene and the alkynes. Okay, so I'll make the table of alkane, alkene, alkyne, and I'll explain what is the general formula of this family of alkane, unsaturated compounds and unsaturated compound. Okay, so let's do first of all the alkanes. Then we have alkenes and alkynes. The alkanes are saturated and this is unsaturated. That means the alkene, it is having a double bond and alkynes are having a triple bond. Okay. Now the alkane family has a general formula of CnH2n plus 2. Okay. So the first member of alkene, how we will know? सबसे पहले हम क्या करेंगे? यहाँ पे what is n? N is the integer. It can be 1, 2, 3 and so on. So if we put the value of n as 1, so if n is equal to 1, what it will be? It will be C1 H2 into 1 plus 2, that is equal to CH4. That means the first member of alkane family is a methane. 1 carbon is meth, 2 carbon is eth, 3 carbon is prop, 4 carbon is but, 5 carbon is pent, 6 carbon is hex, 7 carbon is hep, 8 is op, and so on. Like this we are going to name the carbon. Okay, so if n is equal to 1, it will be CH4 and the name is methane. Okay, so if n is equal to 2, then it will be C2H2 into 2 plus 2. That is C2H4 plus 2 is C2H6. That is ethane. Then if N is equal to 3, it will be C3H2 into 3 plus 2. That is equal to C3H8. And here all the carbon hydrogen bonds, they are having single bond. That is why it is a saturated bond. Likewise, if, and the name will be propane. Okay, C3H8 is propane. Then N is equal to 4, C4H2 into 4 plus 2, that is C4H10. If N is equal to 5, it will be C5H2 into 5 plus 2, that is C5H12. Okay, that is pentane. Now, I was talking about the homolog series. If we look at very carefully, you will see the difference in all the members. This homolog series, what is the difference? Here, the CH4. The difference between the first two members, I will use another pen. The first two members, what is the difference? There is one carbon increase and there is two hydrogen increase. So the difference between the first two members is only by a CH2. Right? Again, you see this second and third, increase of one carbon and increase of two hydrogen. Again, third and fourth, you see there is increase of one carbon and two hydrogen. Again, you see 4 and 5, there is a difference of CH2. So this is the homolog series. Homolog series is a group of organic. They are having same functional group. Here, this is saturated compound, right? And all the members, they have only a difference of CH2. So this is how we name a alkane family. Okay. Now the next one, you can try it by yourself. What will be? N is equal to 6. What will happen if N is equal to 7 and so on. Okay. Likewise, the general formula for alkene is CnH2n. CnH2n. Okay. So if N is equal to 1, I will not write it again. N is equal to 1. If N is equal to 1, you can put, it will be C1H2. C1H2, right? And if N is equal to 2, that is methylene. Then if you put N is equal to 2, it will be C2H4. Why? Here, because I'll make one structure. Let us see. Carbon is tetravalent. And what we are going to do is satisfy the valency of carbon. ठीक है? 4 हाइड्रोजन है हमारे पास, 1, 2, 3, 4. दोनों को 2-2 दे दिए. अब this carbon is also having 3. This is also having 3. ठीक है? So there exists, in order to balance, there is a double bond between these two carbons, which you will be, I'll be telling you afterwards how this is formed. Okay? So I am just telling you the structure of ethane here. Okay, so because there are 2 carbon, 2 carbon है, इसलिए the word root will be eth, and because it is having a double bond, that is why ENE, ethene. Okay, now if N is equal to 3, if N is equal to 3, it will be C3H H6, that is propane. If N is equal to 4, it will be C4H8, that is butene. If N is equal to 5, again C5H10, that is pentane. Okay, again you will see the difference of only CH2. The difference is CH2. The difference is CH2. This is the homolog series of alkene. Okay. Now if you say the alkynes, Alkynes, again, what is the general formula? It will be CnH2n minus 2. That is the general formula. So if I put 1, it is not possible. So n will be 2. If n is equal to 2, it will be C2H 2 into 2 minus 2, or we write C2H2. Okay. Then if n is equal to 3, it will be C3H 2 into 3 minus 2, that is C3H4. So a name will be, first one is ethyl, I-N-E, then propyne, then n is equal to 4, it will be C4H2 into 4 minus 2, that is C4H6, that is butane. And if n is equal to 5, it will be C5H2 into 5 minus 2, that is C5H, 10 minus 2 is 8. Then tine, I-Y-N-E. Again, you see the difference? See, 1 carbon and 2 hydrogen. 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen. 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen. So what is homologous series? Homologous series, here again you see the difference in the homologous series within the family. Difference is only of CH2. Okay, they have a similar chemical property, they belong to the same family, and even though there is some physical variations when there is due to the difference of the molecular masses, there will be some variations of the physical property, but the chemical property will remain same. So this is the difference between alkene and alkynes. Alkanes are the saturated compounds. Why? Because they have a single bond, single sigma bond. Whereas alkenes and alkynes, they are unsaturated compounds. Why? Because they are having multiple bonds, double bond and triple bond. I hope this is clear. Okay, you can take a screenshot. Then we will next see what are the different functional groups, and then we will learn how to write the IUPAC names. Okay, so as I told you, what are functional groups? Functional groups are an atom or a group which give the characteristic to the compound. That is a functional group. Alright, now there are some functional groups that we have to study. First is alcohol. Alcohol with the general formula of ROH. And what is R here? R is a alkyl group. Now you will ask a question, what is alkyl group? Okay, so I told you about the alkane, alkyne, right? So methane is a alkane. Okay, now from an alkane, if you remove a hydrogen, it will become an alkyl group. So if I remove one hydrogen, it will become CH3. So methane, this is methane. Methane will become methyl. Okay, likewise C2H5 minus 1, it will become ethyl. Okay, so ethane will become ethyl. Propane will become propyl, and so on. So this R can be any alkyl group. It can be methyl, it can be ethyl, it can be propyl, butyl, pentyl, hexyl, and so on. Okay, and here R is the alkyl group and OH is the functional group. Okay, so when we are writing the IUPAC, what we do, we take this alkane. Okay, what we are doing, alkane, we remove the suffix E and add the suffix for alcohol group, which is OL, OL. So remove the E, add OL, it will become alkanol. Alkanol. That means if I have an alkyl group, suppose I have written CH3OH. Okay, so this CH3 is alkyl group, one carbon, that means methyl. Okay, methyl, and this is the alcohol group. So methane, remove the E plus O. What will be the name? Methanol. Methanol. Okay, if I write CH3CH2OH, how many carbons? 2 carbon. 1, 2. 2 carbon and 2 carbon, that means ethane. 1 hydrogen is less from ethane, so ethyl, ethyl and ethane. Remove the E, add OL, it will become ethanol. Okay, now if I have 3 carbons, CH3, CH2, CH2, OH, 1, 2, 3, propane, propanol. Okay, if I have 4 carbons, CH3, CH2, 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 OH. So the functional group for alcohol is this OH. So it will be butanol. 4 carbon, butane, remove the E, add O. Okay, this is how we name the alcohol family. Alright, next group is your aldehyde. Aldehyde. I will not remove the group, I will only remove this. Next group is aldehyde. General formula RCHO. All better to understand. In book how you will see RCH, where R is again the alkyl group. Okay, this is the functional group. This is the functional CHO. And always remember, this is all aldehyde हमेशा terminal carbon. Terminal क्या होता है? जो end वाली, जो branch, जैसे अगर कोई आपके बेंच के सबसे लास्ट में बैठा है, कॉर्नर में बैठा है, तो एल्डिहाइड हमेशा कॉर्नर पे बैठता है. ठीक है, टर्मिनल कार्बन. दिस इज ऑलवेज प्रेजेंट ऑन द टर्मिनल कार्बन, टर्मिनल एंड. ठीक है, हाउ वी नेम इट? अल्केन माइनस ई. ठीक है, एंड देन व्हाट वी ऐड? आल, एल्डिहाइड, methanol, all, AL. Okay, so the name will become alkanal. Alkanol. For example, if I have 1 carbon, so again methane, 1 carbon meth, A, remove E, add R, so name will become methanol. AL. That was OL, OL, methanol. This is methanol, AL. The pronunciation should be AL. So if 2 carbon, CH3CHO, 2 carbon, so it will be ethanol. If you have 3 carbon, always on the end, always on the end. Okay, so it will be 1, 2, 3, that is propanol. Alright. So 1, 2, 3 carbon, that is propanol. Always on the terminal. Always on the terminal. Clear? This is aldehyde. Next we have is ketone. Remember, aldehyde always on the terminal carbon. Next we have is ketones. Now ketone always in the center. R, C, R. This R alkyl group can be same or it can be different. This is your functional group. Okay, ketone. Always in the center. Naming alkane minus E. Remove this E and add O-N-E on. That is alkanon. Alkanon. You have to remove the C and add O-N-E, alkanon. For example, if I have CH3COCH3, 1, 2, 3 carbon. 2 is not possible, so it will be 3 carbons starting from it. So the name will be alkanon. Propane, so it will be propanol. Propanon. Remove the E, add O-N-E-1. Propanon. Likewise, we have butanol, pentanol, 5 carbon, pentanol, 6 hexanol, and so on. Okay. And the last one we have is that we have to study is carboxylic acid. These are the 4 main which you have to study in class 10. There are many more which you will be doing in higher class. So next is carboxylic acid. The only one acid that you have to study in class 10. Carboxylic acid. General formula RCOH. This is the functional group. This also on the terminal end. ठीक है? ये भी हमेशा terminal पे ही होगा. ये आप हमेशा ध्यान रखेंगे. Alkane minus E plus oic acid. So it will become alkanoic acid. Okay? So how we name it? If they have 1 carbon. So the name will be 1 carbon meth, remove E, add OA. So it will become methanoic acid, or we also call it as formic acid. If you have 2 carbon, CH3CHO, then it will be eth, because 2 carbon, so it will be ethanoic acid. If you have 3 carbon, it will be propanoic acid. 4 carbon, butanoic acid, and so on. This is how we are going to do the functional IUPAC of this carbon compounds. Now, I think I should stop till here. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is the homolog series, what are the saturated compounds, unsaturated compounds, and what are the functional groups that we have to discuss. Okay, understand in this chapter. Now, you are going to study this, and in the next class I'll be teaching you how do we write the IUPAC nomenclature of this organic compounds. Okay, so I hope this class was beneficial for you. If you like my video, do like, share and comment. If you have any doubts, you're free to comment on the comment section, and I'll try my best to help you in any way possible. Okay, so do tune in for the next video.
Thank you for watching. Do like, subscribe and share my video. Thank you.